One of the best shots I've ever seen on tour was last year at the Irish Open at Lahinch. I was working for Alex Bjork. It was Sunday morning. Alex was actually in the mood to do some special stuff that week. He chipped in for eagle on the Friday night on the last hole to make the cut on the number, which was pretty cool. All weekend he played lovely, hitting his iron shots close, driving lovely, but could not buy a putt. Someone had put cling film over the holes. We all know how that feels. Anyway, Sunday, back nine, starts to really play well, hitting the ball close, misses a short putt on 15. He is raging. However, the next hole, the 16th, par 3, about 180, 190, downhill to a back pin, and there's a big shiny BMW M8 on offer for a hole-in-one prize. So he turns to me and says, Ollie, I can't hold a putt to make any money this weekend, so we may as well get a hole-in-one here, and you can enjoy 10% of this car, which was worth about 150 grand. So I was happy with 10% of that car, as opposed to 7 or 8% of coming DFL, which means dead fucking last in caddy world. And lo and behold, he pulled the club out, got the wind, got the number, hit this shot, absolutely beautiful, straight down the flag. Pitched 6 or 7 short of the pin, little bit of check to slow it down, dead weight. It's going straight in. Even the cameraman behind the green, his hands are up in the air. He knows it's going in. He's the one filming so that the insurance company know it's gone in. And it goes and horseshoes. Horseshoes to a foot and a half. Absolutely nothing. Alex is raging. Club's getting slammed. He's kicking the tee box. He's raging. So anyway, we get down to the hole. And given the circumstances, one of the best shots I've ever seen, because he actually called the hole-in-one and he almost nearly did it. But the funny bit and the little twist at the end is that he was that angry, he missed the putt.
How's it going, guys? Obviously a lot of the caddies are talking about some of the best shots they've seen through the career. Obviously for me it's probably going to be 2016 Masters, the 16th, when I was working for Danny Willett. We've walked off the 15th knowing no idea what's happening or what's happened behind us, but the crowd's gone mental, and then obviously we've seen the scoreboard and realised we've gone from, you know, having a great week in the Masters and being up there to actually leading. And as we're walking down to the 16th, I'm sure plenty of you know that Dan's had a moment to go and gather his thoughts and then come back to the tee and hit the exact perfect golf shot that we've discussed. He's started it on this tree that we've picked it out, and it's literally moved into the middle of the green and caught that slope, as I'm sure you've all seen over the years, and rolled down to 6 feet. But you talk about, you know, discussing a shot and your player doing exactly what you've discussed. It's impressive, you know, all the time, but to do it under those circumstances and being in a position where you're leading your first major and obviously going on to win. But I think that shot, with the circumstances and everything taken in, for me, is probably right up there with the best shot I've ever seen. Okay, thanks guys, have a good week.
Hey guys, Big Al here. Just a quick story from behind the biltong curtain about the greatest shot I've seen. I was a youngster, got to be around about 86, watching the $1 Million, which is now the Nedbank. I walked up to the 9th, which had the two guys in the front of the field, Lenny Watkins and Bernard Langer. Lenny had hit a tee shot right on 9 into this what obviously was an old tyre mark from a tractor, which had now been grassed over, in a bit of a V. Impossible golf shot. He called in for a ruling, got nothing, called in for a second opinion. Althea Manyama arrived, got nothing from him. So he had a look at these two guys and had a proper fuck you attitude. Pulled out a 5-wood, pin was cut front left, 5 yards on, 5 yards from the water left. He trapped this 5-wood, flew it straight over the back of the flag, pitched it maybe 3 or 4 yards behind the flag. Being a Ballada ball, sucked it back to a foot. Had a look at these two rules official, gave him a snotty remark, moved on, tapped it in for eagle. Unbelievable. I have never forgotten it, and just, it's virtually impossible to even imagine it.
So, the best shot I've ever seen. It's a difficult one, because in this job, and like many of my fellow rats, we get a front row seat to see the best golfers in the world hit some of the best shots, or the greatest shots in history. So I'm going to go back to 2010 Whistling Straits USPGA, the mini playoff that involved Martin and Bubba. I'm going to go to the 17th hole, which is the second hole of the playoff, and this shot's more to do with the circumstances, what was at stake, and how Martin actually played it out on the range warming up whilst we were waiting for Dustin to finish up. And, you know, regrettably, that double bogey cost him a shot at the title in the playoff. So Martin and Bubba, and Martin had said that with the 10th hole being drivable for Bubba and not for Martin, that more than likely we'd be one shot behind, because he'd given Bubba a birdie, and Martin was going to have to work very hard. It's never a guarantee, and that's the way it played out. Martin made 4, Bubba made 3, so one behind playing the 17th, and Martin called the shot. He says, Craig, we're going to have to birdie 17 to get level with Bubba, and it was a 5-iron, and it was a back left flag, and unlike Martin's stock shot, which is a cut, this required a little draw, and Martin manoeuvred the ball probably 10 yards in the air to get within 15-20 feet and converted the putt for birdie to tie Bubba playing the last, and as it transpired, Martin lifted the trophy. So for me, that's a shot that will always, always, always stick with me. Cheers.
Good evening, guys. A few caddies been talking recently about the best shot they've ever seen. One of mine I would nominate would be the 2012 Ryder Cup at Medina, caddied for Paul Lawrie in the singles against Brant Snerica. It was a chip in from behind the 4th green for birdie to a front pin. It was one of the best shots I've seen for 2 reasons. One, it got me out of jail because we had hit the wrong club to be there in the first place, possibly. Secondly, it totally changed the tone of the game. Paul had parred the first 3 holes for halves quite scrappily. Hadn't really settled into his game yet, or his rhythm. Hold that chip, went nuts, showed a lot of emotion, which he never usually does. If you watch Paul play, he doesn't give much away. So that completely turned the tide psychologically for him and put him one up. He walked to the next tee and he said, his words were to me were, well. Eagled the next to par 5 to go 2 up, and off he went. Won his game 5 and 3 quite comfortably, which was a big win against the guy who'd won the FedEx Cup the week before, and a huge contribution to what eventually was one of Europe's most famous wins in the Ryder Cup. So that's my nomination for one of the best shots I've ever seen. But at the time, when it happened, all I could think to myself was, thank for that. Cheers.
So, the best shot that I've seen in my career undoubtedly has to be Seve Ballesteros in Switzerland, Crom, Montana, 1993. He's 5 shots off the lead, 6 holes to play, and birdies 5 holes in a row. He stands on the last tee, slashes it 60 yards straight right behind an 8-foot wall and finishes 7 feet from the wall. I get down there first, there's obviously no shot, so he comes down and said, Seve, chip it out sideways, wedge it on the green, you can still make par and win the tournament. No, Billy. He gets down on his hands and knees. No, Billy, I think I see the shot, eh? He's looking over this 8-foot wall through these pine trees that's got a tiny gap the size of a dinner plate, about 10 yards to the left, 2 foot over the wall, 10 foot up in the air. No, Billy, I think I see the shot, eh? I'm like, what? You've lost the plot, mate. chip it out sideways, wedge it on the green, you can still win the tournament. Why I listen to you? Why you put doubt in my mind, you son of my bitch, go get a yardage, eh? So I've walked away, gone to the side of the fairway. To this day, on my kid's life, I never got a yardage. I just guessed it, blagged it. Yeah, 130 will do, mate. 130 yards. Okay, give me the pitching wedge. I said, look, I know you're Seve Ballesteros, but you're not effing Paul Daniels. Just chip it out sideways, will you? Why I listen to you? Why you put doubt in my mind? You're the caddy, carry the clubs. I'm the player now. It's off. So I've walked away sulking. He hits this shot. Dust flies everywhere. It gets over the wall, through this tiny hole, the size of a dinner plate, in these trees, flies over the swimming pool, over the 480-foot pine trees, and lands a yard short of the green. It is the best shot I've ever seen. The imagination to play that shot was incredible. And it just goes to show, if I'd have given the right yardage, you'd have probably knocked it on the green. But the rest history, it got up there and chipped in for birdie. So I had to get down on my hands and knees and bow to him. Seve Ballesteros, you are God. Seve Ballesteros, you're the best that ever lived. And that would be the best shot I've seen in my career. Stay safe, lads. All the best.